was the last time you used a hammer or a wheelbarrow or a hand truck? Well, whenever you did, you were using a force multiplier. Now, a force multiplier is any factor or combination of factors that dramatically multiply your effectiveness and output. The reason I'm mentioning a force multiplier to you today is because I want to tell you about next year's Advisor Conference in Nashville, Tennessee, which is all geared towards force multipliers. We've put together an absolutely outstanding lineup of some of the fastest growing advisors on the Bill Good Marketing system, each of whom are going to share with you some of the most important force multipliers that they've discovered for their practice that have enabled them to grow as rapidly as they are. Now, I'll give you a few examples of what I mean. One of the biggest force multipliers any advisor can have is to work with high net worth investors. It stands to reason that when it comes to multiplying your effectiveness or your growth rate, the more investable assets your prospects and your clients have, the faster you will grow. For that reason, we're so excited to welcome David Baker, who's going to be one of our keynote speakers at AdvisorCon. He is one of the most consistently, rapidly growing advisors over the last few years, in large part because he has been working with more and more high net worth investors. And at AdvisorCon, he's going to share with you his high net worth prospecting strategy. All the ins and outs, all the processes, all the steps, the various strategies he uses to get in front of higher net worth investors, build his brand up with them, get them in for that first appointment, and ultimately close them. So if working with high net worth investors is something that you want to do more of in the years to come, his presentation alone is going to be absolutely worth your time. I'm so excited for David to speak. Technology is also a great example of a force multiplier. Obviously, thanks to technology, not only can we do more in less time, but it also enables us to be able to spread our brand, our message, and our name to more and more people than we ever could just in person. So that's why I'm really excited to announce that Paul Kiker is going to be one of the speakers at AdvisorCon. Now, Paul is not only an extremely fast-growing advisor who grew his business by $100 million in assets in 2024 and is on track to do the same thing in 2025, Paul's really unique in that he's doing it through, in large part, by leveraging technology. In fact, Paul has created what I call an entirely virtual pipeline that starts with podcasts and ends with Zoom, and in between, a number of virtual processes as well. Now, at AdvisorCon, Paul is going to show you that entire virtual pipeline, how he is able to get in front of so many people and close so many prospects without ever meeting them in person using entirely virtual tools and technology. So that's going to be a very interesting presentation, and I can't wait for that one. Speaking of virtual tools, of course, your website is one of the most powerful virtual tools you have. And when you have a highly visible and highly effective website, that's a terrific force multiplier when it comes to attracting more and more leads, turning those leads into hot prospects, and of course, eventually into clients themselves. That's why Katie Johansson was one of the very first speakers I invited for next year's AdvisorCon, because Katie has really mastered the use of search engine optimization and enhancing your website to help her team, Old Raleigh Financial Group in North Carolina, be able to grow as fast as they are. They're currently up to over $475 million in total AUM, and a large part of that is because of their SEO and their website. And at AdvisorCon, Katie is going to be showing you some of the tools and processes that she's discovered that have helped them be able to take their website and not only make it far more visible and appear far higher on Google search rankings, but also become far more effective at getting visitors to reach out and find out how they can begin working with the team at Old Raleigh. So if increasing your search engine optimization, increasing your visibility, and boosting the performance of your website is something that you are passionate about doing, then you're definitely going to want to hear Katie's presentation. Here's a fourth example of a great force multiplier, and that's working with whatever niche or specialty you are most comfortable with or effective at. One example of a niche that a lot of advisors want to work with more are business owners. Business owners are traditionally one of the most desired prospects out there, but they're also one of the hardest to get in front of, and that's a niche that is traditionally extremely difficult to break into. And that's why I'm really excited to invite Brian Sarf, who's an AdvisorCon legend, to come back to the conference and share what he's been doing in recent years with business owners. Brian has developed an entire system at getting in front of business owners, positioning himself and his partners as their chief of staff, their chief financial officer, however you want to position it. What he does is he looks for business owners who are in a state of what he calls successful chaos. They are running a thriving business in terms of revenue, but they're often in a state of complete chaos when it comes to their organization, their time management, their back office, or how their finances with their business are interlinking with their personal finances. And so Brian comes in, he finds those business owners, he gets in front of them, and he offers help in being able to solve that chaos chaos so that they can actually enjoy their success. Brian has become one of the preeminent advisors at working with business owners. So if this is a niche that interests you, Brian Sarf is definitely a presentation you're going to want to bookmark. Sometimes the greatest force multiplier isn't a thing or a tool, it's a person. And we've got one of the greatest force multipliers in the industry speaking in next year's AdvisorCon. Her name is Claire Carberry, and she is the driving force behind every marketing initiative at McPeak Wealth Management. Now, McPeak are an outstanding team of advisors who manage over $2.5 billion in assets. At AdvisorCon, Claire is going to be showing you all the various tweaks, refinements, and adjustments that she has made to the team's prospecting and marketing initiatives. Everything from their branding to their marketing collateral to how they sit down with their prospects in meetings. She's going to go over all of that with you. All the things she's done to create what I call an outstanding prospect experience. An experience that makes prospects want to become clients with you because they want to experience more of the kinds of service and attention that you offer. McPeak are absolute masters at creating a wonderful prospect experience. It's one of the reasons why they are one of the fastest growing teams in the entire industry and certainly on the system. So Claire is going to be going from A to Z on all the things that she has done to revamp their marketing and their prospecting to turn them into such an incredible powerhouse. I can't wait for Claire's presentation. She actually gave us a small cameo at last year's AdvisorCon. She was so popular that so many advisors actually came up to me and said, can we please get Claire up on the stage proper at a conference in the future? So we're really glad that we were able to book Claire in Nashville. So there you have it. Just a brief glimpse into some of the amazing speakers and topics that we'll have at AdvisorCon 2026. And of course, we've got other great speakers as well. Advisors like Scott Ferguson and Nick Grady, and then of course, Bill Good Marketing coaches and team members. Everyone from our CEO, Franz Widmeyer, to Matt Hicken and Tony Parmenter, two of our most senior coaches, and we'll have a few other speakers as well. I've been putting together the agenda for AdvisorCon since 2017, and I have to say that I'm as excited for this group of speakers as I've been for any in all those years. I think it's going to be an absolutely phenomenal conference, and I can't wait to see you out there in Nashville. Now, I do have to say that if you are interested in coming to AdvisorCon, I would definitely purchase tickets sooner rather than later, and that's because our early bird special is ending on December 31st. With the early bird, you can save potentially thousands of dollars in tickets for you and your team than you could if you waited till later. So definitely take a look at the agenda, take a look at our speaker lineup and the individual topics they'll be covering. You can find all that information on our AdvisorCon website. We'll put a link to that in the description below, and of course a link to purchase your tickets for this special early bird price. Until then, on behalf of everyone at Bill Good Marketing, we wish you happy holidays and a wonderful new year. Can't wait to see you out in Nashville for AdvisorCon 2026. Bye now.